It was raining again. The kind of slow, cold rain that made the streets look empty and sad. Maya pulled her hoodie tighter around her head and looked at the small brown package in her hand. No name. No return address. Just an old paper with one line. Drop at 42 Willow Lane. No questions. She worked for a small courier shop, doing part-time deliveries after school. She was only 16, but life had made her older. Her mother was sick, and medicine was expensive. So Maya worked. She didn't ask questions. Not even today. Willow Lane was far. On the edge of town. She had never gone that far for a delivery before, but her boss said it was urgent. Just drop it and leave, he told her. Don't wait. Don't knock. Just leave it by the door. Strange, but Maya needed the money. She took the last bus, then walked. Her shoes were wet. Her socks too. She felt cold, but inside, something else was bothering her. A strange feeling in her chest, like she wasn't alone. She looked behind her. Empty road. Just her, the streetlights, and the sound of rain. But still, she felt it. Finally, she reached 42 Willow Lane. It didn't look like a house, more like an old building that had been forgotten. The windows were dark. The paint was peeling off. Grass had grown wild all around. There was no doorbell, just a rusty door. Maya looked at the package again. Her hand shook. She bent down and placed it by the door. As she turned to leave, a small red light blinked above her. A camera. She hadn't seen it before. It made a tiny clicking sound, then turned off. That's when she heard it. Screeching tires. From the far end of the street, a black van came racing in. It stopped right in front of the building. Men in black uniforms jumped out, guns in hand, shouting. Police! Move! Get on the ground! Maya froze. One officer pointed at her. Did you deliver something? Her heart pounded. I. Just a package. I don't know what's inside. They rushed past her, not even listening. They stormed into the building, breaking the old door down. More vans arrived. Lights flashed red and blue. The entire street was now covered with police cars. Neighbors opened windows. Dogs barked. Someone screamed. Maya stood in the rain, soaked and scared. An older officer walked up to her. His face was calm but cold. Who told you to deliver here? I work for Swift Courier. My boss gave me the package. He said just drop it. That's all. The man looked at her long and hard. Then he whispered something to another officer and walked away. Maya's hands were shaking. She pulled out her phone. No signal. Strange. She tried again. Still nothing. She looked down and noticed something strange. On the side of the package, which she hadn't seen before, there was a mark. A small black mark that looked like a letter or a symbol. It hadn't been there when she picked it up. Or had it? Suddenly, an officer shouted from inside the house. We found it. More shouting. More chaos. Then silence. Maya took a step back. Someone grabbed her shoulder. She jumped. It was a woman, young, wearing a raincoat. She looked like a regular person, but her voice was sharp. Don't talk to anyone else, the woman said. They're watching you now. Do what? Who are you? The woman slipped something into Maya's coat pocket. Go home. Tell no one, not even your mother. They'll come looking. And before Maya could ask more, the woman disappeared into the crowd. Police tape was going up. People were being pushed back. Reporters started arriving. Maya turned and walked away fast. She didn't look back. When she got on the bus, she reached into her coat. The woman had put a small folded paper in there. It said only one line. Don't speak. Don't run. They'll find you either way. Her hands turned cold. What had she delivered? And why were people watching her now? Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat by the window of her small room, holding the folded note in her hand, reading the same line again and again. Don't speak. Don't run. They'll find you either way. Her mother, Layla, was coughing in the next room. The sounds were getting worse, but Maya didn't tell her anything. She couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw flashing police lights, the black van, the cold eyes of the officer, and the strange woman who warned her. What had she delivered? The next morning, Maya walked slowly to her courier shop. Her boss, Mr. Zeman, was sitting behind the counter, looking nervous. When he saw her, his smile faded. "You okay, Maya?" She nodded. What? What was in that package? He looked around and lowered his voice. "I don't know. I swear. It came from an old client. Paid double. Cash. I thought it was nothing." Police were everywhere. "I saw the news," he whispered. "They say something dangerous was inside the house. But that house, Maya, that place hasn't had a resident in 10 years. Maya blinked. "What do you mean?" He pulled out his phone, showed her an old article. It had a photo of the same building. The headline read, "Willow Lane Building Condemned. Too dangerous for use." Mr. Zeman looked worried. "Maya, you're not in trouble, are you?" She didn't answer. She just walked out. Back at school, things felt strange. Her friends talked, laughed, joked, but Maya wasn't really there. She sat quietly in the back, staring out the window. And then she noticed it. A car. A black one, parked across the street. It hadn't been there before. No one inside moved. The windows were too dark. But something told her someone was watching. That evening, while walking home, she took a longer path, turning left and right, trying to lose whoever might be following her. She ran through a crowded bazaar and ducked behind a shop. When she peeked out, the car was gone. But someone else was standing there, a man in a brown jacket, staring at her. She quickly walked away. That night, her mother called her into the room. Layla looked pale, her voice weak. "Maya, come sit." Maya sat beside her, holding her hand. "I saw something on the news, about a girl delivering a package. Police everywhere." Maya stayed silent. Her mother squeezed her hand. "You need to listen now. There's something I've never told you." Maya looked up. Her mother closed her eyes, took a breath, and said one word, "Rafik." Maya frowned. "Who's that?" Her mother opened her eyes. "Your father." Maya's heart stopped. "My father is dead," she said. Layla shook her head slowly. "That's what I told you. But it wasn't true. Rafik, he worked for the government. Something secret. He did things no one talked about. Missions. Dangerous things. One day, he left. And never came back." Maya's voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I had to protect you. They came to our door once. Men in black suits. They told me never to speak his name again. They said he was a traitor, a ghost, that he died during an operation that didn't exist." Maya's hands were shaking now. "And the package?" Layla stared at her daughter. "What did you deliver?" "I don't know." A long silence. Then her mother whispered, "If he's alive. He's trying to send a message." Maya whispered back, "To me." The next day, Maya couldn't sit still. She walked to the library after school and used an old computer. She searched the address again, -42 Willow Lane. Most of the links were old. News about the building being unsafe. Rumors about strange noises. Some even said it was haunted. But one link stood out. A blog post from 7 years ago. No comments. No shares. It said, "If you ever reach 42 Willow Lane, leave quietly. Some places were never meant to exist. Some secrets never die." There was no name on the post. But at the bottom, a strange signature. When she returned home, a small envelope was waiting on the doorstep. No name, no stamp, just her name written in black ink. Inside was a photo, a black and white image of a man standing in front of a warplane. The same symbol from the package was on his jacket. On the back of the photo were 5 words. They lied. I'm still alive. That night, Maya checked her phone again. Still no signal. She looked outside. The same black car was there. But this time, the man in the brown jacket stepped out. And slowly, he started walking toward her door. Maya stood frozen by the window as the man in the brown jacket stepped out of the black car. He didn't run. He didn't look around. He walked slowly, directly toward her front door. Her heart raced. She held the photo in her hand, the one with her father standing near a warplane. The back of the photo still echoed in her head. They lied. I'm still alive. Her mother was asleep in the next room. She had just taken her medicine. Maya didn't want to wake her, not yet. A soft knock came at the door. Not loud, not angry, just calm, like he already knew she was there. Maya stayed quiet. Another knock, then silence. She walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. The man had his hands in his jacket pockets. His face was calm but serious. He didn't look dangerous. He looked tired and sad. Then, without saying a word, he pulled something out and held it up to the door's peephole. It was a photo of her. Maya gasped and stepped back. He slipped a paper under the door and walked away. The black car drove off without a sound. Maya stared at the paper on the floor. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. We need to talk. Tomorrow. 4 p.m. The old train station. Come alone. You're being watched. The next morning, Maya barely spoke to her mother. She didn't tell her about the man or the note. She couldn't. Not yet. Her mother was too weak. She needed peace. Maya packed the photo of her father, the note from the package, and the new paper from the man. She hid them inside her school bag. At school, she didn't hear a word the teacher said. Her thoughts were spinning. Why did that man have her photo? Why did he say she was being watched? And most of all, was her father really alive? At exactly 3:50 p.m., Maya stood in front of the old train station. It was abandoned. No one used it anymore. Cracked tiles, rusted metal, graffiti on the walls. Wind howled through the broken windows. Maya held her breath and stepped inside. The place smelled like dust and old oil. She walked past the empty benches and broken signs. Her eyes scanned every shadow. And then she saw him. The man in the brown jacket was standing near the ticket booth. He gave her a small nod. I didn't think you'd come, he said. I almost didn't, she replied. He looked at her, serious. Do you know who I am? Maya shook her head slowly. He pulled something out of his jacket, an ID card, old and scratched. Rafiq Khan, Special Recon Unit. Maya stared at it. Her breath caught. That's my father's name. The man nodded. He was my best friend. Maya's eyes filled with tears. He's dead. No, the man said. That's what they want you to believe. But he didn't die. He disappeared because he found something they didn't want anyone to see. What did he find? The man looked around and leaned closer. Proof. Evidence of people in power, selling weapons, hiding secrets, destroying innocent lives. Rafiq was about to expose them. And just before he did, he vanished. Maya's voice shook. Why me? Why the package? Because you're the only one they won't suspect. And because he trusted that someday you'd be strong enough to finish what he started. Maya looked down at the photo she brought. This is real. The man nodded. He sent that photo a year ago, along with the files. We've been hiding, waiting. And now you've delivered the final piece. But the police, the woman who warned me, who are they? Not all of them are real police, he said. Some are part of the cover-up. They're looking for the files. If they find you, they'll silence you. Maya swallowed hard. Where is my father now? The man looked away. We don't know. Silence hung in the air like a heavy curtain. Then Maya asked, What do I do now? The man pulled out a small black USB. This is a copy of what's inside the package. Your father wanted you to have it. Hide it. Don't let anyone take it. And if anything happens to me, go to the media. Show them everything. He placed it in her hand. Maya stared at it like it was made of fire. You think I can do this? He smiled softly. You're his daughter. Then he turned and walked away. That night, Maya returned home and locked her door. She checked her phone again. Still no signal. But now it was worse. The screen flashed white, then black. Then a message appeared. We see you. Her hands dropped the phone. She turned to the window. The same black car was back. And this time, there were two men standing outside. Maya stood still, staring out the window. The black car hadn't moved, but the two men outside, they were moving now. Slowly, carefully. One walked toward the back of her building. The other just stood there, looking up at her window, not blinking. She dropped down beneath the window, her back against the cold floor. Her hands were shaking. Her phone, still black, lay beside her. That message still echoed in her mind. We see you. For a long minute, she couldn't breathe. She reached into her bag and pulled out the USB the man had given her at the train station. It felt heavy now, like it held the truth and danger. Her mother called from the other room, coughing hard. Maya stood up quickly and rushed to her. Are you okay, Mama? She asked, helping her sit up. Her mother nodded weakly, wiping her mouth. Just tired. What's wrong, Maya? You look pale. Maya shook her head. Nothing. I just didn't sleep well. She couldn't tell her. Not yet. Layla leaned back against the pillow. I had a dream last night, she whispered. Your father was standing at the door. He didn't speak, just looked at me. Then he disappeared. Maya's chest tightened. Was it just a dream? Or something more? Later that night, Maya didn't sleep. She waited by the window, lights off, watching. The black cars stayed for hours, then drove away at 3 a.m. But she knew they'd be back. The next morning, Maya left early. She didn't go to school. She wore a plain jacket and kept her hood up. Her eyes scanned the streets. Every time someone looked at her, her heart jumped. She headed to the library again, the only place with old computers and no cameras inside. Once there, she sat at the farthest computer and plugged in the USB. It took a moment to load. Then a folder appeared, Project Blackdoor. She clicked it. Inside were dozens of video clips, documents, maps, and names. Some had military symbols. Others had government stamps. She opened one file. It showed photos of people, civilians, hurt, bleeding. A date and location were written at the top. March 3rd, rural school bombing. No survivors. But below that, another line was added in red. Survivors covered up. Media silence ordered. Maya's hand covered her mouth. Another file had a voice recording, her father's voice. This is Rafiq Khan. If you're hearing this, I'm either dead or close to it. They found out I knew. They're after the files. But the truth must come out. We were lied to. Innocent people are dead. I won't be a part of it anymore. Maya closed her eyes, tears falling silently. Her father was real. His voice, his mission, it was all true. She unplugged the USB and slipped it into her sock, hiding it beneath her boot. Then she looked around. A man in a suit had just entered the library. He wasn't holding any books, and he was looking directly at her. Maya didn't walk, she ran. Out the back door of the library, into the narrow alleys. She turned corners fast, jumped over puddles, and ducked behind cars. The man followed. She could hear his footsteps getting louder. Then, strong arms grabbed her and pulled her behind a dumpster. She almost screamed. Sha, it's me. It was the same man from the train station, her father's friend. They found me, she whispered. I know. They're tracking the USB. What? He nodded. The moment you plugged it into the internet, they pinged it. Maya's stomach dropped. I've put everything at risk. No, he said. You just lit the fuse. They moved through side streets until they reached an old basement under a closed bookstore. Inside were maps, radios, and 3 other people. 2 men and 1 woman. All of them looked tired, serious, but when they saw Maya, they stood. She's the girl, one of them said. Rafiq's daughter. The woman stepped forward. I fought with your father once. He saved my life. And now, maybe you'll save his. Maya sat down. Where is he? Do you know? The man shook his head. We think he's alive, but he's being kept somewhere. Maybe outside the country. They're using him, trying to break him. Maya pulled out the USB. This is everything. But how do we get it out? The woman smiled faintly. We go public. No, said the man. We go bigger. They planned fast. There was one safe path left. A trusted journalist, someone Rafiq had worked with years ago. Her name was Arya Malik. She'd gone quiet after her last big story was buried. But the man believed she would help. She's our last shot, he said. If we can get the files to her, she can show the world. Maya stood up. Then let's go. But just then, the lights flickered. A loud boom shook the floor above them. Everyone went silent. They found us. Shouts echoed from above. Heavy boots, smashing glass. Maya looked at the others. There's a back exit, right? The man nodded. This way. They ran down a dark hallway lit only by emergency lights. The walls shook again. Dust rained from the ceiling. Maya held the USB tightly in her hand. As they reached the old steel door, the man stopped and turned. You go. I'll hold them. No, Maya cried. But he pushed her toward the exit. Your father believed in you. Now prove him right. She looked at him one last time, then ran. Outside, night had fallen. The streets were alive with sirens and searchlights. Maya slipped into the shadows, heart pounding, mind racing. She was alone now. But she had the truth, and they would do anything to stop her from sharing it. The city lights blurred as Maya ran through the narrow alleys, her chest burning, heart pounding. Behind her, sirens howled like angry wolves. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Shadows moved in every corner. She clutched the USB so tight it hurt. She had to reach Arya Malik. That was her father's last hope, and now hers too. A day earlier, Maya had never heard the name. But now, it was her mission. The man in the basement, her father's old friend, had told her everything before pushing her through the escape door. Arya lives off the grid. She doesn't trust phones or email anymore. Too many friends disappeared. He had drawn her a small map with a shaky hand. Old cabin. Hilltown Road. Near the mountains. No cameras there. No signals. Now Maya was on the move, heading toward the city's edge. She changed buses. She hid in crowded markets. She cut through parks, tunnels, and alleys. By morning, she stood outside an old bus stop with cracked glass. A single bus sat nearby. Hilltown Road. 2 hours later, Maya got off the bus and found herself surrounded by trees. Birds sang above. A stream trickled nearby. It was peaceful, too peaceful. She followed the dirt road up the hill. Her shoes were muddy. Her legs ached. But she didn't stop. At the top, she saw a small wooden cabin with ivy climbing up its sides. Smoke came from the chimney. She walked slowly. Her hands trembled. Then, click. A rifle pointed at her from behind a tree. Don't move. A calm voice. Strong. Maya raised her hands. Please, my name is Maya Khan. I have something important. From my father, Rafiq Khan. Silence. The woman stepped out slowly. She had short gray hair and sharp eyes. Her clothes were simple. Her hands didn't shake. "I knew that name once," she said. Maya nodded. "He trusted you. He said if something happened to him, you'd know what to do." The woman's eyes narrowed. "Come inside. Quickly." The cabin was warm and full of old books, radio parts, and paper maps. Arya didn't speak as she locked the door and drew the curtains. Maya placed the USB on the table. "I haven't looked at all of it, but it's bad. They hurt people, lied, covered up attacks, and now they're after me." Arya plugged the USB into a dusty old laptop. For 5 minutes, she said nothing, just clicked, read, listened, watched. When she finally spoke, her voice had changed. It was quiet, angry. "They told me he was dead." Maya looked at her. "He's not." "I don't think so." Arya sat back. "Your father and I worked on a story once. Years ago, he found out a group was using war zones to move illegal weapons. Government people were involved. We tried to speak out. But he disappeared. I lost everything. They took my job, my friends, my life." She looked at Maya. "And now you're standing here, holding what we never could show the world." Maya nodded slowly. "Will you help me?" Arya didn't answer right away. She stared at the screen, then whispered, "Yes." They worked for hours. Arya had tools Maya had never seen before. She copied the files, added codes, masked locations. "We'll upload this to every news network across the world at once. No one can stop it if it goes global," she said. "But what if they trace us?" "They will," Arya said. "But by the time they get here, it'll be too late." Night fell again. In the dark silence of the cabin, Maya finally asked, "Do you think he's alive?" Arya paused. "I think he's fighting. Somewhere." Suddenly, the laptop beeped. A message appeared on the screen. "Encrypted connection request. Source unknown." Maya froze. Arya looked at her. "It could be a trap." Maya whispered, "Or it's him." The screen flickered. Then a voice came through. Crackled. Weak, but familiar. "Maya." Her eyes widened. "Dad?" More static. Then, "They found me. Not safe, but proud of you. Don't trust anyone. Send it out now. Now." The signal broke. Maya stared at the screen, her lips trembling. Arya sprang into action. "He's right. We're out of time." She hit a button. The files uploaded. The progress bar moved. 10%, 30%, 50%. Suddenly, outside, headlights. A black SUV pulled up fast. "They're here," Arya said. She grabbed a burner phone, placed it beside Maya. "If anything happens to me, finish it." Maya nodded. 70%, 85%, 95%. Bang! The door burst open. Masked men rushed in. "G-1." Arya stood her ground. "You're too late." 100%. The upload complete. The files were gone, flying into servers across the world. The truth was free. Maya screamed as they dragged her and Arya out. But in that moment, she wasn't afraid. Because her father's war was now hers. And the world was finally watching. Flashing lights blinded Maya as they dragged her out of the cabin. Armed men shoved her into the back of a black SUV. Arya was forced into another vehicle, her hands tied. No one spoke, but Maya saw the rage in Arya's eyes, the quiet defiance. She wasn't afraid. Neither was Maya. The upload was complete. The truth was already out there. As the SUV sped down the dark mountain road, Maya tried to count how many men were in the car. 2 in front, 1 beside her. All of them wore masks. She spoke calmly. "You're too late. Everyone will know." The man next to her turned his head. "You really think that matters?" He said coldly. "They'll call it fake, a hoax, a trick by enemies." Maya's eyes narrowed. People aren't stupid. The man shrugged. People forget. After a week after a new headline, they move on. Maya didn't answer, because she knew he was wrong. Back in the city, chaos was already rising. News channels were flooded with reports. Leaked files expose military cover-ups. Whistleblower's daughter tracked by unknown forces. Who is Rafiq Khan? Clips from the USB played on every screen. Bombings, voice messages, internal documents. Names of powerful people appeared. Evidence no one could ignore. People were talking, protesting, demanding answers. The SUV reached a large gray building on the city's edge. It looked like a warehouse, but inside, it was something else. Maya was thrown into a metal chair under bright lights. A man in a suit entered. No mask, just cold eyes and a calm voice. "You've made a mess," he said. Maya stayed silent. He leaned forward. "Do you even know what you've done? This isn't just about your father. It's bigger than that." "I know exactly what I did," Maya said. "I told the truth." The man laughed softly. "Truth? People don't care about truth. They care about safety, stability. And you just lit a fire under everything." Maya looked him dead in the eyes. "Good." Meanwhile, Arya sat in another room, bloody lip, handcuffed, but smiling. The guard watching her asked, "What's so funny?" She tilted her head. "I just remembered something your boss forgot." "What?" She leaned forward. "Once the truth is out, it can't be silenced." Outside, thousands of people had gathered in the city square. Screens showed Maya's face, Rafiq's voice, explosions, files. The story was spreading faster than they could shut it down. Reporters demanded interviews. Politicians scrambled. Leaders denied, then stuttered. But something had changed. The world was finally listening. Inside the warehouse, Maya was moved again, this time to a smaller room with a large monitor on the wall. The screen turned on. Her father's face appeared, alive, bruised and tired, but alive. "Maya," he whispered. Tears filled her eyes. "Dad, you were never supposed to carry this burden," he said softly. "But you did more than I ever could." "I didn't do it alone," she said. "Arya helped. Others too." He looked proud. "They told me they'd find you. But I knew, if you had the files, you'd fight." She nodded. "It's not over yet." His image flickered. "Where are you?" she asked. He shook his head. "Can't say. They move me constantly. But now that the truth is out, they'll have to let me go. Or they'll face a war they can't win." Suddenly, alarms rang. Red lights flashed. The door burst open. Armed men in black rushed in, but these men had different uniforms. One looked at Maya and shouted, "We're getting you out." Confused, she ran with them. The men surrounded her, pushing through smoke and chaos. Outside, helicopters flew overhead, not from the enemy, but from the government. Real soldiers, cameras, reporters. The warehouse was being raided, live on TV. In the crowd, people chanted her name. "Maya, Maya." Others held signs. "Justice for Rafiq. Truth will win. Protect the whistleblowers." Arya was pulled from the other building, handcuffed but smiling wide. She looked at Maya and shouted, "You did it." Later that night, Maya sat in a secure hospital room, bandaged, exhausted, but safe. A nurse handed her a phone. A video call. Her father. This time, the connection was clear. "I'm coming home," he said. Maya smiled, tears falling freely. "I waited so long to hear that." By morning, Maya's story had been seen by over 100 million people. Governments launched investigations. Powerful men resigned. And one young girl, once just a delivery girl, had changed everything. The world no longer looked the same. News screens across countries still played Maya's video. Her face had become a symbol of courage. People remembered her, not as a delivery girl, but as the one who dared to expose the truth. And yet, inside her heart, Maya still felt the weight of everything she had been through. She didn't want fame. She just wanted her father. It had been 3 days since the rescue. Maya stayed in a protected, safe house with Arya, surrounded by guards and lawyers. Everyone wanted to speak to her. Politicians, reporters, even world leaders. But Maya stayed quiet. She didn't want a stage. She wanted justice. On the 4th morning, she sat on a balcony overlooking the sunrise. Arya joined her with 2 cups of tea. Still not sleeping much? Arya asked. Maya shook her head. I keep seeing that cabin. The flash drives. The masked men. Arya nodded. That's how it stays for a while. But the nightmares fade. The truth doesn't. Maya looked down. Do you think he's safe now? Arya didn't answer immediately. Then softly, he will be. They can't hide him anymore. Too many eyes are watching. That afternoon, Maya was called into a meeting room. The large screen lit up. A woman in a formal suit appeared. She worked for the Global Human Rights Council. We've confirmed it, the woman said. Your father is alive. He's in a secured location. After global pressure, they agreed to release him. Maya's breath caught. When? Tomorrow morning. He'll land at the capital airport. And Maya, we'd like you to be there. The next morning, the airport was packed. News vans, security, and a sea of people holding flowers, flags, and signs with Maya and Rafiq's names. Maya stood near the arrival gate, hands trembling, heart racing. Arya placed a hand on her shoulder. You're ready. The gates opened. Soldiers stepped out first. Then a man, slow and thin, wearing a dark coat and a tired face, but smiling. Rafiq Khan. Maya ran. He opened his arms wide, and she crashed into them. Tears streamed down both their faces. For a moment, the cameras disappeared. The noise faded. It was just a daughter and her father, together again after years of silence. The next day, Maya was invited to speak at the Global Youth Summit. She didn't want to, but her father encouraged her. You already woke the world, he said. Now speak to it. Maya stood on the stage. The lights were bright. The room silent. She took a breath, looked at the crowd, then began in simple, clear words. I'm not a hero. I didn't plan any of this. I was just delivering a package, something I've done hundreds of times. But this time, I opened it, and it changed everything. She paused, her voice shaking slightly. Some people said the truth doesn't matter. That people forget. But you didn't forget. You shared the truth. You protected it. You made them listen. And because of that, my father came home. She looked into the cameras. There are still others out there, hiding truths, hurting the innocent, thinking no one will notice. But they're wrong. Because now, the world is awake. A wave of applause filled the hall. People stood, clapping and crying. In the weeks that followed, investigations spread across the globe. Maya and her father gave their testimonies. People were arrested. Files were declassified. But Maya stayed out of the spotlight as much as she could. She went back to her small apartment, her old neighborhood, the bakery on the corner. Sometimes people stopped her on the street. Some thanked her. Others hugged her. One child even handed her a drawing. A girl holding a glowing USB stick like a torch, lighting up a dark world. Maya kept that drawing on her wall. One evening, as she walked home, she passed a group of teenagers gathered around a phone. They didn't see her. They were watching her old video, the moment she stood in front of the world. One girl whispered, "She's so brave." The other replied, "She changed everything." Maya smiled quietly. Later that night, she sat with her father on the rooftop. He looked at her. "Do you ever wish you hadn't opened that package?" She thought for a moment, then shook her head. "No, because if I hadn't, the world would still be asleep. And that's how the girl who made deliveries became the girl who woke the world. Not with weapons, not with power, but with the truth, and a heart that refused to stay silent. Months passed. The world remembered Maya. Her name appeared in history books, classrooms, murals on city walls. She had returned to a quiet life, but her story didn't fade. Instead, it inspired others. It started small. A high school student in Brazil found old files in her late uncle's garage. She didn't understand them, so she sent them to the email Maya had shared at the summit. Then a young medic in a war zone uploaded body cam footage of illegal weapons being used. A journalist in South Korea leaked voice recordings of backdoor deals. They called it the Maya Network. People sharing secrets, telling the truth, protecting the powerless. Maya never asked for this. She received hundreds of emails every day. Some real, some dangerous, some heartbreaking. At first, she tried to reply to them all, but it was too much. So Arya stepped in. She gathered a small team, young, smart, brave people like Maya. They built a protected system, encrypted servers, safe drop locations, a whistleblower support group that spanned continents. They didn't just release files. They verified them, protected the senders, and published only when it mattered most. They worked in silence, but their echo shook the world. Then came the Whisper case. It started with a blurry photo, a young child in handcuffs. No name, no location, just a short message. They're experimenting on us. Help. Maya read the email 3 times. The photo haunted her. The message felt too real to ignore. The team tried tracing the origin. Nothing. The file had jumped through 7 servers across 4 countries. But Arya found a clue in the photo. A map on the wall behind the child. It was old with strange markings, used only in a now abandoned research base in northern Siberia. Maya leaned forward. That's where we go next. She didn't want to go alone. So she reached out to someone unexpected. A former intelligence agent who had once tried to silence her, now turned ally. His name was Kellen. I thought you didn't trust me, he said. I don't, Maya replied, but I trust your guilt. They traveled under different names. They carried no weapons, only cameras, satellite phones, and backup drives. The Siberian facility was buried in ice and silence. But as they approached, drones hovered. Cameras moved. Someone was still watching. They found it on the 3rd night, a hidden chamber beneath the ice. And inside, children, weak, sick, but alive. And Maya saw him, the boy from the photo, the one who whispered for help. She knelt beside him. You're safe now. But he shook his head. They'll come back, he said. They always come back. Maya recorded everything. Files, photos, names, faces. They smuggled the kids out with the help of global aid workers. Kellen stayed behind to delay the men chasing them. He never made it out. The world exploded again. The Whisper files trended on every platform. World leaders demanded answers. The underground lab was exposed. Dozens of missing children were reunited with their families. And a new law passed, the Global Child Protection Act, built from Maya's report. At a press conference, a reporter asked her, "Do you consider yourself a hero again?" She smiled gently. "No, just someone who still opens the wrong packages." Later, Arya handed her a thick folder. Maya opened it. Inside were files about her mother. She hadn't spoken of her mother in years. Arya said, "We found this while tracing the Siberia leak. Your mother may have been part of the first mission that exposed those experiments. She disappeared after that." Maya stared at the pages. A new silence filled the room. Not fear, but a calling. And so the girl who woke the world packed her bags once more. Not because she wanted to, but because someone else was still whispering. And Maya had learned, when the world whispers, someone has to listen.